Yo, oi Jamie, how are you doing? Alright, I'm doing amazing. Got big plans for Frisia, but first I need to get this a little bit more cleaned up. Hello, the statue. How are you doing? Let's see. Mm, no, that wasn't it. Two, three, okay. That doesn't look quite right. Mhm. There we go. That looks better. Oh yeah, there's a lot of planning we can to do. Cascade going for Frisia just to ignore the idols. That's the biggest part about Frisia. How are you doing, buddy? So yesterday, I was shared this. So now I'm going to get all these guides over on that. With the knowledge we now have about last league, about Keeper's main league, and about Frisia. So we're gonna be starting with, if I remember correctly, we want 4 massives. Pretty sure this was the best we could. Explicit modifiers, quality, and one of them had to have this. Oh, we also got pack size. Primus! What do you mean Whisper was Hierophant? There is no Hierophant. I think it's not gonna feel stronger at League Start. I don't think Whisper is a good League Start ascendancy. I think it's a really, really strong later on ascendancy. Fire Champion. I think you do exactly what I thought of today. If you want to go Whisperer, you start at Wild Speaker. You're gonna be enjoying on being on bows, Mana Forge bows all the way, and once you have your Indigon, then you're gonna swap over. Because Kinetic Blast of Clustering is gonna be giga expensive. That's gonna be just crazy expensive, and it's gonna take so much time to get it going, instead of just using Mana Forged. There is not Kesuke. I don't think Sanctum is affected. Also not bad. How are you doing, buddy? Cvix. I do not know. I've never really played Flicker Strike, so I cannot make any statements about Flicker Strike without just not being able to make actually an educated assumption on it. So if I don't know about something, I'd rather just say nothing about it or recommend the right source. So everybody wants to swap to mana forged arrows, but the mana forged arrows that people want to swap to is very late. It needs an Indigon, which we assume is 40 divines. It needs cluster jewels, which we assume is like 5 to 10 divines. It needs the normal jewels, which I assume is gonna be 1 div each. It's gonna need a proper quiver. It gonna need quite a bit. Compared to the Mana Forge, which I actually league started, and I know it works, and I know it can do T17s. It's gonna be fine. And I would say Wild Speaker Wonder would be just a generic Kinetic Blast build, but then you could also just do Blind Profit and just level a new character once you have farmed up enough currency. Drink leveling isn't that hard. Alright, then we want 3 large with explicit modifiers and rare scarab. I wonder if those explicit. This is actually the biggest question mark because those just got nerfed in main league. They might have also completely gutted them here. So then we have a here, here, and here. The free Flicker Strike setup works because crazy good, however, it is Flicker Strike, you have little to no control where you are going. Interesting. Yeah, I never been a Flicker Strike player, so I can't make any statements about it. Ah, it's prefix, okay. Ah, oops. Was actually gonna do Flicker Strike before you see the Penance Brand? Ah. I I've never played. Oh, actually, I lied. I think I played Flicker Strike once, quite a bit back. What was the other expensive Scarab we played this league? think it was Ultimatum. Dang, we don't have Ultimatum as option. I mean, it's not a Headhunter Fire Champion, it's just an Inspired Learning. It's still a free Inspired Learning. Invector, how are you doing? White Speaker. White Speaker has a node. It doesn't change your point. Now we are using the old idle values that we had the last league. This is just converting my old strategies that I had for the first free share event and converting them all into Path of Legacy links to have it a little bit more streamlined. I apologize for a moment. I need to check this. Why? Nice. Really glad to hear that. Alright. So this is Adversary's farm. I would say it's hard. T17s. To run it is medium. Difficulty is hard. Eh? There we go. No changes so far affecting my league start plan. I have looked at it. So I've been testing it. This is just armor brand. And once I had decent resistances and decent life pool, I've been cruising through maps with a random ass wand. So we have... What scarabs are we using? We are using Adversary, Adversary. Pretty sure we are changing the setup slightly. Two adversaries. We have two nemesis. And we can use one divinity. Exarch, Eta, Default. I forgot the name of the good T17. What was it? What was the Fortress? I think it was. There we go. Alright. Why you got auto-modded? Because MFA. Well, we as PoE players have some very weird terms that the rest of the internet would find absolutely wrong. Right, so now I can go here. And I can... Where's the link button? There. If I now click on it... Perfect. Alright. Next we take a look at boxes. I think so too, Fire Champion. I think Frisia is gonna be amazing. So I think... Let's take this here. So I think if we are looking at adversaries, obviously gonna be S tier. Boxes is gonna be S tier. Blight, I expect to be S tier as well. The Giga Farm Blight. I would say it's gonna be extremely good for Expedition. Ritual, sorry, it's gonna be extremely good for Ritual. Expedition, it depends on what you want to do. Because you are doing cold damage, right? So if you hit immune to cold damage, it will do nothing. But otherwise, with the explosion, it's gonna be really good. Harbing, I think, is gonna be A tier. Legion, I think, is gonna be B tier. Expedition is B tier. Essences, I expect to be A tier. Paranoia, I only expect to be A tier. Cause the best cluster in the main league, the Golem cluster, is not gonna be expensive, right? Ultimatum, I expect to be S tier. Crop rotation is S tier but delayed. Eta Altars is gonna be if you hit lucky. Stack Dex is gonna be B tier. Exarch Altars is gonna be A tier. Beast is gonna be A tier, I think. And Ritual is likely B tier. So we are getting a new Frisia event. Right, League Star. Map version illustrate. Good for reminding me. So we are working on the freesia trees, which I had before, but I'm revamping them all with the new system I'm now aware, or with the knowledge we have now about it. So I'm just going to go over these and set them up one by one in the freesia planner, because this is a little bit better visible. Tomorrow. Tomorrow evening at 10 p.m. in Germany. Essences I expect to be good, because I expect a lot of builds wanting corrupted essences to craft. I expect that essences are gonna be, because in a normal league it's easy to pick up on the side. I did not see the idle buying tool. Essences are easy to set up on the side, there are still always provided essences. But with idols, the buy production of essences is gonna be less, so it's gonna be a lot more targeted. I will add nodes to these once I've sorted out all the trees, but I'm first gonna focus on getting the trees, and then I'm sorting the things out here, similar how I'm sorting things out here. Just that it can be a very quick and small view, because all the information is on here. So I think for map sustain. Where is it? Where is connected? Beasts highly depend on the value of the Black Morrigan. I expected Beasts to be an S tier starting strategy, and then Morrigans were barely worth a divine. So that completely threw me off. Didn't Minor Idols had... I could have sworn they had a chance to connect, drop connected maps. It highly comes down... Beast highly comes down to the prices of beasts. If the beasts are worth nothing, then a beast threat is worth nothing. It was one of the best strats in previous freesia, so I'm keeping my eyes on it. But it could be that it's... Yes, Ita was on the big ones. There. That one is the one we want. So if this is 8%, we don't get early 100. Okay. It would be cool. I agree. Alright, so if we had 1x2s. Alright, how many of those can we fit in? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the best odds we can get is 8 times 8 for 64%. I don't like it if it's not 100 easily. And the reason we can't really push more is that these are basically locked. The top row is locked and the bottom row is locked. We just don't get access to that anytime soon. The only two we can get kind of access are these two, but we don't need those two. So this is the maximum we can get in a reasonable time frame. Then I don't like going for connected. So we need to find a different idol to stack early. That could be true. That is correct. Let's add that. It's also going to result in a lot of D17s. So what do we have for map props? We can add shrine. I think we should have this. Minor idol. Wait, what? Ah, okay. Contain a shrine and contain an additional. Yeah. I think it's the tier higher and Keurig nodes. I don't think connected is strong enough, and I don't think scouting reports is that needed. Scouting reports is usually what we use at the end to target specific ones. They're not for progressing in high tiers, but for completing. So we want Keurig. Where is Keurig? Oh boy. That's 2.5%. Slight. That is not a whole lot of that we are getting here. Okay. Additional is not what we are looking for. Because that is, if we roll this chance, we then have a chance for a second one. I don't really care about that. This is Essence tier higher. This is Oils tier higher. Ah, there. So this is the main thing we want to stack on minor. And then we want to combine that with Shrine. Where's the Shrine? So if we of these something like this is basically all we need. I think with 100% tier higher and decent chance to shrine, we're gonna be having everything we need for completion. So we can even split this up further and don't need 2 mod idols. Oh no. This is... Actually, if we do like this, then we could... Yes, I plan to farm Breach in Act 1 right at the start. And in Quarry. Alright, something like this should be the... I'll have to clear this every time. Oh no, there's a reset all button I didn't saw. I'll do that on the next one. Alright, that's map progression. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good call. You get a couple of idols, you get a couple of wound gifts, you get a bit of gold, you set up your character, and then you continue blasting. In Vector, I disagree and agree. We are very used to the Atlas passive tree. And it's something that caused me to really struggle the last feature event to progress. You get your maps, but you don't get your progression. So the idols will help a lot progressing your maps. Not really issue with sustain, but with progression I expect to be a very big issue. And also the difficulty, so I really want to get some shrines and things for a better and faster or safer progression. Like, I was stuck. Well, sure. Okay, we need to keep in mind when do you reach maps and how much currency you have to buy maps. I was stuck for an hour on T7 maps because the only map I got dropped was what was it called? Castle Ruins. I only got Castle Ruins dropped. I saw 9 Castle Ruins in a row. I had to full clear the map every time to try and get a tier higher. Speaks and dreams said in voice and laughed their asses off at me running another Castle Ruins. Only in Frisia so far. Right. Let's reset all and work on strong boxes. What do you mean you don't get much after 60 completion? 100 completion, 150 completion, Elder Guardian, Shaper, Exarch, Eater, Maven, Uber Elder. We definitely want all the completion to use the 4 big setup. Nope. I'm for sure rushing 150 objective. I want to be able to use the 3 mediums or 3 1x3s for 2x2s. I mean, you want to combine things. You want to progress your atlas at the same time as you start farming something as you get towards T16s and stabilize there. Alright. Let's start by Camelon. No, not Camelon. The Conquer Idols. What do we care about Strongbox? Open and rare. There is an argument in what the Primus says. You want to farm the currency needed for your build to be able to enter T17s. So you want to have some early farm going on. But be honestly, the best thing you can get early on is Harbinger, Beasts, or Exarch Altars, I think. Those are gonna be the top 3 early strats. So you want to do a mix of progressing there and setting up your farm. Also, hello, Gion Green. Yeah, I only learned about it recently as well. No, you still want to get that slot. I'm agreeing with you there. But I'm also seeing the point of why getting towards that slot, you should already be setting up your first farm. Currency duplicated, div card duplicated, an additional strongbox. I don't. So here's something we need to keep in mind. The mods we're looking at are the old ones. I expect some mods that they have nerfed or replaced on the current tree to also be replaced in Frisia. Things like that completion to the safe house, I think that's gone. Altar farming premise. Exarch, altar farming, beasts, and destructive play. So this part I learned that I did some BS here. Because we can stack this further. Instead, what I think we want here is something similar to what we use on this one. Chance to drop scarabs. I think that that one is gone. I'm gonna make the plan with it, but if it's gone, it's gone. Just because we haven't gotten any information regarding that. I don't know when or if we will get any before launch. Alright. I think this is... No, I don't think this is correct. I likely want more totemics with this mod. And then we want... this one. Then we want... gambling or no gambling? Honestly, I think it's just both. So this we take a little bit of the scarab farm. So we have, in total, more scarabs found, chance for scarabs drop, just a couple of scarabs. If the idle mod increased duration shrines worked on, I'm pretty sure that that is gonna be changed, as the code that works off the idols and the base tree is the same. They just made these atlas nodes into the idols. Unless, of course, it is a copy paste of a code, then it might work with the old one. But I assume that those are the minor fixes they did to the idol system. So what we have? We have 1, 2, 3, Contains additional strong boxes. Rare corrupted. Chance to open again. Guaranteed additional monster. Duplicating those things and making them more likely to be Diviners and Arcanist. Alright, I think this works. Alright, now we get to Blight. And this is something we didn't have last Freesia. So this is one I'm excited about. Because these work with not T17s, but T16.5. So what are the scarabs we're gonna be using? Right. So obviously we're gonna be using a couple of blights. This one doesn't work with the unique ones. So I think it's Invigoration, Blight Heart. Don't care about Blooming. So then it's Bloodlines. And I think it's Wisp. Or Risk. Expect this to be expensive and hard. If you're going Mana Forge Wild Speaker, I highly recommend farming Altars and Harbingers early on. Either of those two will work, and farm yourself up the currency to go into T17s. Altar farming and Harbinger farming is gonna be very, very very lucrative early on, I think. Alright, let's take a look. What do we have with Blight? Blight encounter. Openal again. Ooh, that might be interesting. Salvageable. Don't really care about that one. This is gonna be the key part. Then we can use faster. If we are really strong. Alright. So the key part is more non-unique monsters and take increased damage to make it easier. And then we can use... The cheapest build for T17s, I'm really not sure. The issue is that I'm not really a good build smith. I'm really just good at understanding one build that I pick for myself really well and optimizing it for what I want to do with it. So I don't know what all the builds are available. I think that the Herald of Agony Herald can be really good. I expect Surfcaster to be really strong really quickly. I expect Blind Prophet to be really strong really quickly. And Wild Speaker. But Wild Speaker is more for fast map zone rather than T17s. The biggest issue I see is that we don't have really one ascendancy that just shouts purely I'm immortal outside of Ancestral Commander or what it was called. And that one got slightly nerfed. It's one of the couple that got nerfed. So I expect most builds to actually struggle with survivability early on, which is why I really want to go Surfcaster for the freeze survivability layer. How strong is this usually? So normally we have 50% more unique and 100% faster, and here we can get 200% faster and 240% more non-unique. That's very interesting. I do think, however, that I want... that I want to optimize those idols a bit more. So we have... Ah, neat. But if... Oop, I duplicated it. I didn't mean to do that. If that is the case, I need to enter minimum numbers on these. Okay. So now we have also a bunch of scarabs dropped by this strategy. And a bunch of increased effectiveness. And we still keep all the speed. Alright. Next, we take a look at Ultimatum. So we need 1-2 bribing, catalyzing. Right, so we want 4 of these to have a guaranteed duplication. How do these scarabs work?
What have you got?
I don't have currency exchange.
Ah,
Only offer catalyst. Alright, so we don't need any of these. If we... I'm not even at the Exarch Alta farm yet. And there. I'm on ultimatum right now. One farm at a time. It's your first league, is the mechanic you should focus on to make money. So, is this your first Frisia? Is this your first PoE 1? Or is it your first PoE ever? Okay, so one thing to keep in mind is that Frisia is gonna be harder than a normal PoE 1 league. So I'm mostly recommending you to explore the game, apply your knowledge of PoE 2, and I would say if you want to focus on mechanic, focus on altar farming or guardian rotations. Also, hello, Oldling. How are you doing, buddy? Oh, dang. Busy with real life? My PUB field's always open. No worries. If you have more questions, feel free to ask. I think that the Surfcaster is gonna be great for Guardian rotations. I don't think that the Mana Forge build will be good on Guardian rotations. That's fair. I mean, PoE is a seasonal game. The developers have accepted it as such and are building around it. We are just getting a bonus season with Frisia, because our PoE 1 season was cut so short. Oh, nice! Congratulations, buddy. My plan is to, right after campaign, to go to bed. And when I wake up, utilize the bodies that I've carried through campaign into maps to get me a little bit of stuff. And from there, upgrade the character, rush ahead a couple of maps that we have duplicates of. And from there, just push through the Atlas, farm up currency, likely do a little bit of altar farming, and then get into T17s. So, my main idea is to play Exarch Altars, Eta Altars, on Armor Brand as long as possible, and farm, use Breach, and trade, and crafting and gambling to set up the Penance Brand build. Once I have the pieces together, hopefully able to snipe an early, cheap Explode Ring, I'm gonna be good on Explode Impulsors. So the issue or the benefit of altar farming is it is raw currency. I start using Scarabs when I have, in case of Frisia, a good altar setup. It is raw currency, Vixo. Eta Altars is random chance for the vines. Exarch Altars is just a bunch of wall orbs, glass power bubbles, instilling orbs, chaos orbs, chisels. That's fair, oldling. I mean, I've only just gotten to maps. I finished yesterday's run. And it's basically just armor recall for this early stage. I'm gonna finish testing this tomorrow before Frisia starts, and if needed, do some last minute changes. But so far it has felt pretty good. The biggest issue I had actually was with a random proximity shield rares. Uniques have been fine on this. Oh. Nice showcase effect. I almost got them all down though. It's fine to link videos here. If they're expensive, I'm adjusting by not using concentrated effect Phenom. My biggest worry, which I might need to do some quick adjustments in, if the cooldown mod is a little bit too common, I can't properly use brand recall.
Just need a moment to catch my breath.
And right now I have a pretty bad weapon. It's basically just a bit of flat damage. Not even flat fire damage.
Hello.
I'm aware. This is a practice run. I'm intentionally using a low filter to get used to the build. This is like going in and you don't know what to walk in on. What is my first priority on gear and everything. So that's why I do these practice runs. I know it theoretically works, I just need to test it in praxis. Right. I'm gonna make the tree with a simple setup. So we have 2x2s. Additional round. And chance to be duplicated. Then we take 4 of these. Then we want I think Surfcaster is gonna be more fine than it looks. Everything it leaks that is gonna have bad EHP and low damage. But Surfcaster has freeze. And both increased damage taken from shock and increased damage taken from chill. Which I expect to be quite significant damage boost. I think this is the ultimatum setup. I'm expecting the only lightning explode ring to be between 5 and 10 divines. 5 divines if you get it sniped, 10 divines if you buy it from somebody that is aware of its value. I'm not talking about a double explode ring. I expected of just singular. Because I know I've seen them to be about that value at initial league start. Kinda. Like, I still assume that there are random players that will get it and don't know exactly where to put it. So they just do a price check and then put it up for something. I expect a lot of people to live search them, but I don't know how many people will have the currency to snipe them early. Because I expect a lot of people, again, just like in the first free share, to have a rough time progressing into the end game. So as long as you guarantee your own progression is smooth, you're gonna be fine. I mean, maybe not. I expect a lot of PoE2 players to just randomly try out free share because it's nothing happening in PoE2, the market's inflated, the second Wind League died down. They might just give it a go. Well, it is a campaign drop. Barracks with Spite can drop in campaign. So the same happens for the free share respite. Not the free share, the Foulborn one. Alright, Oldling, take care, buddy. If you do !guide, you are head to my website. And if you click on strategies, you find it here on the first page. And you can just click on the things. I'm gonna flash this page out a bit further. No worries. We don't need Cornucopia, we need doubling. We need of awakening. Where's my harvest? There. Risk and sacrifice. So, chance to be duplicated. I don't remember the full setup for the harvest. Did I note it down here somewhere? Ah, right, right. I remember what was about harvest. So, wait, let me search for that old video. I remember there was one dude that completely figured harvest out. It was actually way more insane than what I came up with harvest. Where is it? It was this one. Okay. Yeah, this is the video. Perfect, I found it. So, alright, we start with 2x2 idols. And we get quality map effect. And then we get duplicate monsters and life force. Yep, well, organic rotation is just rushing the boss over and over. So we want this classic setup. Then we want the 1x3. Um, so we need 2 of this. And we need two of this. And then we get alright, what was it for crop rotation? We had Mauri, how are you doing?
We've made a trade.
Oh,
What
cool.
are we shipping?
Alright. What we let me click on that button was. So we usually take 10, 45, 45, 10. Okay. So we take one unique idol. And then we take how do we balance it out? I think we take one with just yellow and two with blue and purple. Alright. To be fair, not just you. I also been playing some Earth. But I've actually had fun. I've been playing it less I need to win and more just take it simple, take my time until I have a chance of actually playing and not just get steamrolled. Oh yeah, God bless your soul. You are lost. I hope you find the way back to the light. Doesn't matter. It's ranked. You're punishing yourself. Why you do this to yourself? Just play Earth. I'm not even gonna be adding exile farming to this because I expect it to be gone. If it's not gone, it's gonna be way too busted and too broken. Everybody's gonna be rushing on it and nothing is gonna be affordable. I hope it isn't in the game. I'll be fully honest. There are way better farms and more fun farms than exile farming. And it's just gonna force an arms race of every big player and creator trying to get the exile set up first. Alright. Pretty much. I expect so as well. And adversary farm is pretty simple to set up. Also expect Blight to work again because Blight was giga. They didn't nerf the Blight farming. They only removed the risk scarabs. So we had less loot, just less modifiers on the map and less loot in a return. But now we're getting random modifiers increasing in numbers as we progress. So 16.5 should maybe have 2 or 3 risk scarabs applied for free. So all we need to do is do a bunch of blight mapping. And we are back to what we did last league with it. I expect blight to actually be really good again. And be on par with, not boxes maybe, but adversaries. You should start using scarabs when you have a decent setup. I do not know. I have not actually played a poison or pure chaos variant of Venom Giant in a while. I highly recommend asking Arrow of that. He has been a Venom Giant enjoyer for quite a bit. And a Cobra Lash enjoyer. Either, so if you're for example farming beasts or essences, then you're not farming those in T16, so you don't have to. Yep, exactly. So in this case, you can already start using them early. Like, once I have a decent idle setup and I can utilize the Scarab well, and the Scarab is affordable, I start using the Scarab. The same way I start using tablets in PoE 2 the moment I can utilize them and they're not dying over and over. Yo, Vivid, I'm also excited for it. I'm very excited for the upcoming league. Nice. How do I think tank is gonna be in mid-late game? I think the tankiness early on we're gonna be relying on freeze as a primary survivability layer. As we are progressing into the end game and we're figuring out what the new endgame meta is, we're either gonna be adjusting for risk mapping, which we did in the 326 league, or we're gonna be adjusting for some CI or some block shenanigans. It really depends on what the game is consistently throwing at us. If we are just like 326, highly adjusting for risk mapping, then we're likely gonna be going CI, gonna be sitting at like 10k energy shield, or 8 to 10k energy shield, and we're just gonna completely ignore evasion, and we're gonna be leeching our energy shield back all the time. Which is a very good likelihood of what's happening. But we just need to see where the endgame is pulling us and pushing us to see what we are needing to adjust for. Yeah, I expect so as well. I expect Penance Brand to be good at house farming, yes. So my goal is tomorrow, which I'm gonna be starting tomorrow morning. I have this character already leveled. I'm gonna push it a little bit further in SSF, and then I'm gonna simulate the Penance Brand swap, and I'm gonna figure out the minimum viable setup to transition into Penance Brand. It might be, but it should only be against the unique stand, and then you just stop attacking for a moment, reposition, let them face. Like, if everything but the unique enemy is dead, I stop attacking for a moment, I take a step away, they do their attack, they face, and then we continue. Harvest is always iffy. It's one of the most bugged strategies. Regardless of what you do. Uh, okay. Do I care about that? Kinda. I like to use the cooldown recovery one, because that actually makes them consistently spawn and you can just stack up 2 or 3 Harbingers and very quickly burst them down. More than giving them more chance for additional currency stack. So this gives a guaranteed Harbinger boss. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 guaranteed Harbingers. Plus map device. NET16 is fine. With so many Harbingers, we definitely be using Obelisk. We don't need Regency, because we have it guaranteed with those. So we have 9, 11. The map is gonna be overfilled with Harbingers. It's insane. There's also gonna be so much XP in this strat. Hello, Betsy. Are you also going to be joining for free share? You gotta make yourself some free time for this. Alright, what I do next? Let's just go essences next. Additional essence. Add this. Then we have 1x3. How much do we care about wait. Remnants are gone, easy. I forgot which one of these is the ruthless one. You have not checked, but is there a guide how to allocate points in a keeper tree for best gear? It highly depends on what gear you are trying to craft. There are videos on specific gear examples, but that's about it.
What have you got for me?
Ascent. Stability, okay. The helmet craft for my build, I have one with everything but the Elder variant for Kong effect. So it's not the best helmet, but it's the next second best helmet. I have not made any keeper tree videos for this build. I just make my keeper trees up on the fly. Alright, let's take a look at Delirium Paranoia. Something like this, I expect. Hmm. Nah, I think this is better. What was the last one? It was just one more paranoia, okay. And we run it on Strand. Maybe we don't even need the difficulty. I don't remember if that affected the cluster drop. I don't think it does. I think it's just about amount of rewards. Alright, already halfway there. The cool thing about Exarch and Eta Alta farming is that it is only one mod idle, so it's very easy to set up, very quick to get going, no recombing needed, you just buy the idle and you blast. And all the currency you make from it, you invest into getting the other idols. So you just have a guaranteed Alta when you spawn, 50% pack size, and 50% chance to duplicate the Ember. Allows a lot of early crafting as well. And all you need to get it going is the minor ones, the cheapest of the cheapest. Forgot how many of what we needed on the Einhar farm. Right, okay. This was the massive one. I just got hot maroons. Very tasty. Ooh, I. But very hot. So we have yellow bees have a 60% chance to be replaced. 80% chance to appear in pairs, which stacks with the duplicating scarab. Very likely to be wild. And all these yellow bees have a chance to be replaced. I would say it's gonna be fine-ish. The reason it's really strong in T17s is because of the big map size, which makes it more effective per scarab, as they are usually the same cost nowadays than T16.5s, at least as good layouts. And the fortress specifically has a lot of specific rares that are just guaranteed based on the map. The map just contains these rares on top of whatever else it contains. So it just has more rares as a bonus, as a hidden modifier. That said, it is totally fine to run on T16s. If the scarabs are cheap and the map is the bottleneck, you can just run them on T16s instead of T17s. Hot. Hot, 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 hot. Hmm. Alright, next do we do the Guardian rotation? Ah, there we go. So we definitely want destructive play. Dang, we have no modifiers for this. But we didn't had. Okay. You couldn't chant your brain, you bet you would have had a ton of modifiers. Or moodifiers. I'm surprised that you still have no free time. I thought you said that you're gonna have a lot more free time starting this month. I mean, at that point, it's your own fault. Your own fault. Yeah, with this setup, we should be able to fully sustain on maps. Well, better teach her a lesson then. You know? You need to get back at her. It's a lot easier to make them with the tool than to make them all visually on my grid, on my spreadsheet. I think the biggest issue the first time around was that I didn't knew that the chance to contain cap at 100 on smaller ones. Alright, what's left? Legion, Expedition, Stack Deck, and Ritual. pretty much. Inkunox! Inkunox. How are you doing? You come to me in your time of need? Oh boy. What are you gonna be coming with now? You have no time to pick a build, bestow me on something unkillable. Something unkillable is gonna be very hard this private league. I think the best unkillable thing would still be an ancestral chieftain. Or a commander. Slams. No space for it, and the strong boxes themselves are only part of the loot, as far as I remember. We already get a bunch of a quant from just having them rare corrupted. You can replace the guarded by monster with additional loot. Or replace some of those totemic ones if you want to. I'm not a strongbox expert. If somebody has a better strongbox setup, feel free to recommend it to me and I can update it. I barely run boxes, and normally I have Gone for this. But Gone is too busy with other things to help me out today. Well, you see, Inconox, there's the issue. There isn't a lot that isn't slams that is actually tanky. As you can see here, apparently Antiquarian is tanky. Huh. Well, there you have it. Antiquarian. It looks like cast while stunned. Yeah, actually that's a good idea, Inconox. Just look what Emiracle's cast while stunned is doing. And play that. I think that's actually a good idea. Or Big Daddy, whatever his Valdo map runner is gonna be. Those are good options for tanky. Naito! Favorite weather condition, that's the first I heard. I use Tight Eyes. A caster. No worries, Inconox. Have fun with the build. Alright, Legion, Expedition. Let's cook a Legion. You aren't gonna be finding... Yes, they are shown in Act 1. You see them in Act 1, afterwards you don't see them. We only need to prep them in Act 1, and we are using our Act 1 weapons throughout the entirety of campaign. Only swapping as we approach the endgame. Alright, let's take a look what we want. Alright, we cap out at 100 on the tree. We don't really care about the army anymore. We care about this one. I forgot about this though. What the heck? Alright. I'm pretty sure we want this. This. Yeah, I think that's how we are gonna be running legions in this league. So we are using +4 rares, guaranteed legion encounter, chance for rewards on here, and have the big explosion, so the chests are just chain reacting the entire legion. And then we add as much rarity as possible. Honestly, if this mod stays, if this is not a ruthless mod, the increased rarity of items dropped by surgeons, that is insane. I didn't remember that. We can just rarity farm Legion with that. Especially good if you are doing the Wild Speaker start.